going on YouTube? This is Brooke, and today I want to talk about military orders in the Navy Reserves, how to look for these opportunities and take advantage of these opportunities. This is a little bit less straightforward than on active duty, because on active duty, you're just on orders the whole time, versus in the reserves, most of your time is going to be in an inactive status, so they have to get you on a set of orders to get you paid and get those points for retirement. So first things first, we all know that the basic requirements is the 1 week in a month, 2 weeks out of the year annual training, and your drill weekend, your 1 week in a month, is going to be IDT orders, inactive duty training orders, and you're going to have 4 of those each drill weekend, 2 on Saturday and 2 on Sunday. These are going to be done for you already. That's already populated in INSEPs. You just have to show up when you have to show up, and you do have the capacity to reschedule if it doesn't work out for you on that specific weekend, and I'll cover that in a different video. Your second requirement is going to be your annual training. Now, this is typically 12 to 14 days, and you can do up to 29 days if you so choose. Priority number 1 is going to be to support whatever unit that you are supporting. So in my case, I was in Minneapolis. I was attached to Edson Range Camp Pendleton. So they flew me out to California. They got me a rental car. They put me up in a hotel. I did the extended AT. So for 29 days, I was working in the Edson Range Clinic on Camp Pendleton. Now, if you're in a smaller unit, or if your unit doesn't have your annual trainings already planned for you, that's when you can browse different annual training opportunities on ZipServe. ZipServe is a platform that you're going to want to get familiar with. This is where they're going to post all of the different orders opportunities that I'm going to speak about today. So if you see something that you're qualified for, apply for it. Get yourself scheduled for annual training. The next one is going to be ADT, or active duty for training. Now, this is going to be on ZipServe as well. Typically, these ADT orders are going to support a training evolution for someone coming up on like a mobilization, or if you just needed an extra class to keep up on your quals. It's going to be temporary training orders. Now, the next one is going to be ADOS orders, active duty for operational support. These are going to be on ZipServe as well. It's going to look something like this. And these are typically temporary orders, a lot of times over a month, less than a year, to support some sort of gap in the Navy Reserves. The next type of orders I'm going to talk about is definite recall orders. These are the type of orders that I am on as well. This is more of a constructive move in terms of your career when it comes to the reserves. It's usually going to be between 12 months and 36 months. This is a voluntary and a temporary set of orders, and a lot of times it is a set of orders that will transition you into more like an active duty capacity. So for example, on the CANREC orders that I am on, they put reservists on these orders to do recruiting in hopes that you like it or you're a good fit. And then that way you can drop a package and become a career recruiter in NC. Another type of orders that I want to talk about, which is the staple of the reserves, in my opinion, is mobilizations. Mobilizations are going to be listed on ZipServe as well. It's going to look something like this. And these are great opportunities for you to go on a temporary set of orders. Usually it's about 9 months to go do some sort of mobilization or deployment somewhere. These are typically not done on a ship, and they are voluntary, and a lot of people are worried about getting deployed involuntarily in the reserves. In my personal experience, I've been in the reserves for over 10 years. I've only seen a couple of people get involuntarily mobilized, and it was actually an anesthesiologist and a nurse anesthetist, and they're like a 1 of 3 billet in the Navy Reserves. So I typically see people going on mobilizations that are volunteering for it. Maybe they just want to break from their civilian job. Maybe they are out of employment for temporarily, so they just want to hop on orders. Whatever your situation is, I highly recommend them. They're a great opportunity. Side note, if your mobilization orders are considered Title 10 orders, you're actually subtracting day for day towards your age that you can collect your retirement. Now, if hopping on orders is something that you're really interested in doing in the Navy Reserves, but you've been looking at ZipServe and there's not really any opportunities that you see that you qualify for, don't give up, because I will give you 2 stories of hope. So I was just talking to a gentleman at the Enlisted to Officer Roadshow, and he had followed me on Instagram. So he came up to me and he was chatting with me about how he was on ADOS orders, the active duty for operational support, because he was doing his annual training. He really impressed the folks that he was training with, and so they gave him 1-for-1 orders. They said, hey, we'd love to have you. And so he was able to hop on orders that way. Second, I was doing my drill weekends in Minneapolis. There was a TAR HM that was leaving the Reserve Center. They needed to fill that billet, and instead of just posting it, they hired internally to our unit. They kind of just asked us, hey, is anyone interested in doing this? And there was one motivated HM2 that took the opportunity and she got put on ADT orders to do that. And there's going to be a lot of different opportunities like that that are floating around. Recommendation, if you want to be on orders and that's sort of your goal in the reserves, is one thing that you can do is change your mass code to a voluntary mass code. So basically, when they're looking for different people to go on these mobilizations, they're going to pick people that are volunteers first, and you could put yourself on a list there. And another thing you could do to be a little bit more proactive is talk to your chain of command, tell them what your intentions are. That way, if there's grumblings in the chief's mess, for example, about a mobilization coming up and they don't know who's going to go, he can just volunteer you right there. And another thing, of course, is be a good sailor. If you're interested in going on mobilizations and doing things, have good quality of work, have a good work ethic, because then people are going to want to work with you. The Navy Reserves is a small community, so if you burn bridges and give people a bad taste in their mouth about you, they're going to see your name and cross you off that list, versus if you're someone that they're going to want to work with, they're going to be asking for you. Some of these orders are really competitive. I can think of one for an example. So there is a spot for HMs in Germany, and it's a super chill duty. It's, I think, a year long, and it's really, really, really competitive to get that, so they never post it, and it's kind of a who you know sort of thing. So get your name out there, be proactive, don't give up, and if you want a set of orders, you're going to be able to find it. I know a lot of people in the reserves that have made it a career, that have basically been active duty the whole time, but they've never actually been active duty. They're just hopping on different sort of types of orders. So with that being said, I hope that this was helpful. If there's anything that you wanted me to go over specifically, go ahead and drop it in a comment below. Reach out to me on Instagram. I look forward to seeing you around.